Hi there. So, jumping right into the tutorial, I already have my nail tips applied, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a 100 over 180 grit buffing block and remove the shine from the nails. Ultimately, with this, you could just apply a base coat or do some chemical etching, but I just wanted to see if using a buffer had any effect on this design, and ultimately, it didn't. So, it's really up to you. These are also considered press-on nails, so I'm going to actually soak them off once I'm done with this video, and I'm going to reuse them again. So I really do try to minimize the amount of gel polish layers that I place on the nail. So that's also a part of the reason why I chose a buffing block over using just a base coat. Now that I have these nail tips nice and matte, I am going to take a little kabuki brush. This is a makeup brush, by the way, and I'm just going to remove all the dust from the nail. Since I will be doing the icicle nail design, I am going to actually do that first because that impacts like everything else on this design. So what I'm going to do is grab some saran wrap that I got from the $1.25 store and cut little squares out of this. Honestly, you don't even need that much saran wrap to do this design. So if you can grab the smallest container possible, that's what I recommend. Or if you already have it in your kitchen, just use that. You don't need to go out and buy another roll. I did practice this design a little bit before starting to film, and I thought that I could just use aluminum foil that I already had in my kitchen. And I will say that the aluminum foil gets stuck in the hard gel and it does not come off as easily as a saran wrap. So I would recommend not even doing that. And plus, it's silver, so you can totally tell that it's not supposed to be there. So I'm just gonna cut the smallest square that I can possibly do because these nails that I'm using here are quite long. I'm just gonna make sure I have enough saran wrap to cover the inside of the tip. Next, I'm gonna be taking some hard gel. This is from IBD, and I'm going to place this on the underside of the nail. I will say I did practice this design a little bit, and I tried to use the McCart rhinestone glue that you all see me use so many times on this channel, and that didn't work as well. I also tried regular base coat, and it wasn't giving that full ice-like effect. So I do recommend using a hard gel or a builder gel if you have it, just because it's a little bit thicker. So what I'm gonna do is grab a flat brush and then place this where my natural nail stops, and then all the way to the tip of the extension. You could cut down your natural nails. It would probably look even better if I'm being honest, but for me personally, I like my natural nails to grow underneath any nail enhancement that I'm using, so I never cut down my nails. I know some people are like, "Ugh, this is messing up the look," but ultimately my goal is to have long natural nails under these extensions. But if you don't care about that, you can always cut your natural nails down. I'm gonna grab that saran wrap square and place it directly onto the nail. And then I'm gonna press the saran wrap into the builder gel. Once I have it just laying here, I'm gonna grab my tweezers and then I'm gonna start like scrunching the saran wrap. If you want to see what it's looking like on the other side, all you would do is just flip your nail upside down. And what I really like about this is that you can see what it's looking like before you even cure it. So you can do a lot of playing around and you can make sure that it looks the way you want before you move on. So I'm going to go ahead and just complete this process for the rest of the nails. So I know these nails are looking a little bit crazy, but as you can see here, my squares are slightly bigger than my nail. So there's a lot of saran wrap on the sides. And the reason why I did this is because I need something to grab onto to snatch the saran wrap off. So that's why it looks a little bit crazy. To remove the saran wrap, I'm just going to grab it with my other hand and just pull it off. It does come off for the most part in one piece. It comes off very easily actually. The other thing is, if you're pulling it off, you may have noticed that there is little spots where the saran wrap has cured like off the edges of the nail. So you would just take your nail file those pieces away, and then everything will look nice and flat. So here are what the nails are looking like at this point. Remember, they are matted out because I did buff the nails. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is create a ombre at the bottom half just to cover where my natural nails stop so there's not this weird line. So I'm gonna be taking one of my favorite nudes from Nail Reserve LA. This is Sea Swing in Sun. And then I'm just gonna apply a thin layer of this only on the bottom half of the nail. So what I'm doing is just making sure to go up into the point where my natural nail stops, because the goal here is just to cover my natural nail so it doesn't stick out very obviously. But because my nails are all different lengths, some of the ombre is going to look a little bit longer than others, and that's just because of the way my nails are right now. But if you actually do cut down your nails, you would have an even ombre, so that's another benefit of maybe you cutting down your nails. So once I'm done, I'm actually not going to cure this. I'm going to be taking this ombre brush that I found, I think on Amazon or SheIn, wherever I found it. I will of course link it in the description box. I'm just going to move in an upward motion first and then move side to side. Once I have that laid down, I'm then going to cure this layer of polish. So because this color is quite sheer, I am going to go in with a second layer of polish and then repeat the ombre process. So this time, once I'm done doing the ombre, what I'm gonna do is leave it wet, and I'm not going to cure this layer. And I'm gonna be taking this base gel and then applying this on the top half of the nail. So once I have the base gel applied, I'm actually going to start blending the two colors together. Even though it's clear, I want that nude shade to look like it's disappearing off into the clear and not just a very harsh line here. So what I'm doing is just taking my ombre brush and moving that nude polish in an upward motion so it kind of like blends in with the clear gel polish. I'm actually going to let the nail sit for like a few seconds so that the gel polish can self-level, and then I'm going to cure it in my lamp for about 60 seconds. So this is the stage where I always show you where you can stop in the nail design process. So this is where you can ultimately stop. I thought about it, but I know that I always extend the look, give you some more options. So let's just do a quick little visual view of what it's giving right now, and then we're going to move on. So I'm actually going to be adding just some nail art to this design, and I'm going to be using this white gel paint. So what I'm doing is just taking a very thin liner brush, dipping it in there and making sure that the bristles of my brush are nice and coated. And then I'm going to begin drawing little lines on the nail. I wanted these lines to just wrap around the nail. I wanted to make sure that the lines were very curved. And so I'm just placing them from the midpoint of the nail and then curving them to the other side. So once I have the lines drawn on the nail, I am going to go ahead and cure this in my lamp. This, according to the back of the package, needs a 60-second cure, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right quick. And then once my nails are out of the lamp, I am going to be taking some top coat. This is also from Madam Glam, and I'm going to apply this to one nail at a time. And then after I have the top coat laid down, I'm going to be taking some caviar beads, white pearls, as well as some silver pearls, and I'm going to lay them on top of those little white lines in random spots. So as I'm applying these with my wax stick, I am just going to be placing each pearl and the caviar beads, and I'm going to make like a little cluster, but I have no dedicated design in mind. I'm just laying them down as I feel called to, I guess. If you are going to apply your pearls or rhinestones in the same method that I'm doing in this video, make sure that you do one nail at a time and then flash cure once you're done with the design, because if you don't, these little rhinestones and pearls and caviar beads are going to start sliding down the nail. And then by the time you're done with the rest of the fingers, they're not going to be in the same place. Like they're going to be halfway off your nail at this point. So just keep that in mind. The other thing is, I had worn these nails for quite a bit of time before soaking them off, and the caviar beads popped off very easily with just the top coat. So, in this video, I was just trying a different method to see how they hold up, and everything stayed on except for those caviar beads. So they need something with a little bit more hold. So I would recommend even using a builder gel for the caviar beads, or even some of the Macart rhinestone glue that's very popular, so that they stick on the nail. But yeah, I just wanted to give it a try, and I can say it didn't work. So apply the caviar beads with something of a stronger hold, not just a top coat, because they will pop off the moment you bump into something, which, you know, we don't want that. So now that I have all the pearls laid down, I'm actually going to do one last final cure in my big lamp. Here is the final look. So I really do like these nails, and I even like them just with that cracked ice ombre without any of the lines or the pearls on the nail. I think this is really cool, especially for the winter time, because if you are in a colder climate like me, we get a ton of snowy weather. And to an extent, I love snow for like 1 to 2 days and then I'm ready for it to go, but it just gives you that perfect winter vibe. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to give it a thumbs up and then let me know in the comments down below how you feel about these nails. But in the meantime, I will be seeing you in this video here.